Hello, everyone. This is Sharon Heller with Network in Action in Denver. And I'm here with one of our members, Lara Fordis. She has a company called Insights a la carte. And I'd love to hear more about you and your company, Lara. So if you can introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. I'm Lara Fordis. I started Insights a la carte as a market research consultancy. We specialize in providing consumer and customer insights to small businesses, entrepreneurs, startups, and the people that do marketing and funding on behalf of them. So we partner with marketing agencies and work with brand managers and product managers to get them the insights that they need to guide their marketing, sales, and directional changes to their product or service. And we do that using surveys, focus groups, in-depth interviews, and a lot of creative technical tools that enable us to get access to customers and potential customers to get feedback about potential products, services, and messaging.
Thank you. It seems like a pretty important time to be finding out what people out there are really needing. Can you share a little bit about how the current situation happening in the world right now is affecting your clients?
Sure. Well, the clients are in a state of sort of decision paralysis. They don't know what to do, and I can completely identify with that and empathize and sympathize with that. But it's actually, I have a financial or fiduciary obligation to let them know that it's actually important to do market research right now, because the things that we had taken for granted about why people purchase, why they have brand loyalty, why they want or need what they say they do, has been flipped over. So things that we thought we needed, like brawny brand toilet paper, we've now had to, by virtue of accessibility, switch brands, switch the way in which we go and shop. And I think people are learning that they can make do with things that they didn't otherwise. So their likelihood to stay loyal to a brand, unless it's particularly compelling and engaging, is going to be much less in this new environment. So my clients are having to face, in addition to all the other challenges that they have, that what they had the assumptions they had made about customer loyalty and retention are not going to be there. And so there has to be established a new baseline, as we call it in market research, to know how things are going to be going forward and measure them and use them as KPIs in the future.
Wow. And so how are you helping your clients kind of navigate all of this?
Well, I'm encouraging clients to use research because it also provides what's called a halo effect. So just the act of reaching out and connecting with clients and getting their feedback about how they feel about things currently and how that shapes what they need in the future is not only going to provide insights to the companies, but it's also going to make them look good and have what's called a halo effect to doing the research at this time. People are much more accessible, more willing to spend time on surveys, interviews, focus groups than they would in the past. So we're finding a higher participation in research, which translates into a better value for companies.
Wow. I hadn't thought about it quite like that, but I think it's a really good point that people do have a little bit more time where they could follow through and take a survey and actually give their input, which would be helpful for your clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And
mean,
have you,
I'm running a survey that just launched, and I expected it to take 3 to 5 days, and we're almost finished with it because the participation is so much higher than I typically see. The turnaround time's less, and the cost of executing it is subsequently less because more people are willing to do it. So the supply and demand of research participants is working to the advantage of researchers and their clients.
interesting. And given that, is there a way that you've modified your services to adjust to the situation, or provide more opportunities for business owners out there who maybe have never done this kind of research before?
Yes, that's an interesting point. I've tried to do more a la carte and piecemeal things so people don't feel overwhelmed by committing to a chunk of things. I try to serve it like tapas, like here's one thing you could do, here's another thing you could do, try this, try that, so that I make it affordable and accessible for them to dip their toe in the research now and see what's the minimum we can spend and still get them insights that they can utilize. And that way we can measure it. So for instance, I just did a survey and we only did 150 of the 500 so that we could take a look, evaluate the insights, see how much more we need to do. If I can save them money and still get them a return on investment, great. But that way it shows that I'm taking into account what their needs are and giving them then what they need to make a confident business decision.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that point. And, I had always thought about this kind of research being more meant for like medium to large size companies. Can you talk a little bit about how this also benefits small business owners, and maybe just give some examples of smaller businesses that you've worked with?
Sure. Yes, that's a common misconception that even small businesses know that they need to do marketing just like a bigger business does, they don't think of market research as a way to optimize their spending on that marketing. And the reason that I love working with marketing agencies and people who do marketing is that they can show that they're determined to get the most bang for their buck and that they're not making decisions based on anecdotal evidence or hearsay or what the president's spouse thought was a good idea. They're making it based on data. And that's when you have less money, it's even more important to make sure that you're using it in an optimized way. So a lot of times people think that there's, oh, I can do this via SurveyMonkey, but they don't think, quality in reflects quality out. And if they don't know how to ask the right questions, they inadvertently get responses back that lead them to conclusions that could be flawed. And then they end up spending money on marketing, product development, what have you, that's based on flawed data. And then that undermines the credibility of the market research. So by not using quality, you end up doing yourself a disservice, and it sort of taints your experience with market research. What I'm having a lot of success with is that there are two parts of market research: qualitative, which is the focus groups and the interviews, and quantitative, which is more like surveys, robust amounts of data from hundreds of people that have statistical significance. And what I'm trying to do for small businesses is give them sort of Fortune 500 quality treatment at a very affordable price. So we'll do some qualitative research, look at those findings, and then use that as input to do a quantitative survey, which is what your venture capitalist firms, your banks, your any sort of investor, and including the CEO and CFO, are going to want to see. They're going to want to see the numbers. So it enables them to get both of their needs met and to provide insights that are going to be relevant to different audiences.
Sounds like a really incredible opportunity actually right now, and a time to get really strategic and deliberate for businesses and what types of products they're offering and who their audience is.
Well, there's some people that don't think about doing market research, including people who buy franchises, because they may look at the data and then be thinking of a certain area in which to go into. So for instance, like a car wash, if I know someone is considering investing and opening a car wash in zip code 80020, then I can do a geographically targeted survey and just interview the people who go to car washes and are within 3 miles or 5 miles of 80020. So the data is very specific to the geography. Same thing with products or that are going to be going into like a Whole Foods or a Walmart or a Target. I can actually use a panel that I have that has people who have opted in to take surveys in that area. And then when they get into the Target or Walmart or Whole Foods, it pings their phone and then says, hey, would you like to take a paid survey? So I can get their actually in-store from the consumer's mouths video shopping experience for people who may be, for instance, in Austin, Texas with a manufacturer of healthy beverage drinks, but they're going to be distributed in a New Jersey Whole Foods, and they need to know how New Jersey Whole Foods shoppers think about beverages, not how the people local to them or nationally think. So I tend to focus on very targeted research so that people get the most bang for their buck and can feel confident in the findings.
Oh, it's fascinating, and I think a very underutilized resource and area of expertise. So for individuals and business owners who may be interested in working with you, Lara, or finding out about more how this process goes, how would they contact you?
Well, they can go to the website, which is insightsalacarte.com. They can call me at one of my numbers, again, on the website, or email me. And I always welcome connecting on LinkedIn. I also use Calendly, so you can schedule a 30-minute or 1-hour consultation. I do a lot of complimentary brainstorming. I like to be thought of as a thought partner, that if I can't solve the problem, I can at least get you to the right person who can solve the problem. So anyone who spends time with me, I want them to come away feeling like they got a great value and that they took away something that made them think about how they can do things differently and gives them confidence that they can solve this business decision or have the resources to do so.
Well, fantastic. I know I learned a lot just in this short amount of time, and I hope a lot of folks reach out to you during this time also, because I see just from talking to you what, kind of long-term benefits they can gain for their business. So
yeah, I love talking to people. I'm a very gregarious market researcher. Sometimes we have a reputation for being sort of overly analytical and not warm and fuzzy, but I really love talking to people and helping people, and in any way I can do so, I'm happy to help.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Sharon.
Have a good
Bye.
day. Bye-bye.